good evening, and welcome to Letter from the Light Side this week. My name's Conboy, and I'm here to pass on the inspiration and the guidance for the next week from the energy beings who are around us to help us. I hope that the sound is okay. I hope that the visuals are okay. I'm very much still learning how to do the technical stuff, so bear with me. If it's not quite perfect, it's just what it is. Okay, so what a week it's been. It's been certainly the roller coaster that they were asking us to be aware of last week. You may have felt exhausted, you may have felt like, I don't know what's going on, niggles, lots and lots of little niggles, emotions coming to the surface. It is still part of this purification that I've mentioned a couple of weeks ago. I've had the angels with me very much this week, particularly the Earth's archangels, helping to try to kind of smooth the energy as much as possible. But it doesn't mean that I've escaped the ups and downs either, because everybody is getting them. But it's very much about trying to make sure that you've tied up the loose ends, completed what you need to complete, started to let things go in a very deep and fundamental way, so that you can make some progress forward, because that's where we're at really. And yesterday, certainly a day where you might have felt like you were putting plans together, getting ideas in your mind, working out what it meant, where it was going. You may also have found yourself changing your mind. One of the things about the energy that we've been in is that it has been kind of blow hot, blow cold, and it takes a lot to stay grounded when it's like that. We are becoming more intuitively sensitive, everybody is, and so people are experiencing lots of different shifts in energy in different ways, but still experiencing it because it's happening to all of us. So whether it's your physical body that's been saying, oh, I can't take this any longer, whether it's been your emotions that have been up and down and all ways round, whether it's been your thoughts, sometimes it's quite hard to stop the train of like negative, because it starts linking on and on and on. Hiya, Mazza. Hi, Liz. This kind of train of thoughts can be hard to stop. Or whether it's the spiritual stuff, whether it's trying to work out how you want to be in the world. We're seeing some very black and white attitudes, especially in the last week, this sort of sense of being pulled to the polar opposites. Again, it's part of this trying to decide where we fit in all of that. What's important is how you feel you need to express your spirituality. What kind of world do you want to build? So all of this goes into this big confusing mess. Let's call it what it really is, a confusing mess. Now, the thing to remember is you've done a lot of groundwork, especially since last September, in looking at who am I? Because that question still threads through all of this. In order to make a commitment to change, we have to decide who we are now and who we want to be. So some of this energy in this past week is actually asking you to choose, to sort of go, not really happy doing that, I'd rather do this. People around you will have been the mirrors to your thought process, really. Maybe sparking feelings in you, getting you thinking, well, how do I respond? What's the way that I want to accommodate their view but have my view as well? Part of being who we are is knowing that we can have our own view and it doesn't have to agree with anybody else's. Certainly a debate I had in me, because for a long time, most of my life, I don't think I believe, well, I know I didn't believe in the spirit world, and having to then work with guides and inspirers actually means, ooh, maybe I need to think about this. And it led me into a process of checking my beliefs and values and coming to the conclusion that, well, what I was experiencing definitely was real to me. Don't care about anybody else. And because it's real to me, then I can believe in it and I can trust it. Which is why I think people sometimes kind of misunderstand what channeling can be like. Channeling can sometimes be just the thought flow that comes in. Sometimes it can be a much deeper channeling where, you know, your voice can change and your appearance slightly alters and whatever. But one of the things I do a lot of is something called philosophy. I call it wise words, where I let my inspirers just start speaking through me. Whatever I'm saying is kind of coming through them, if you see what I mean, if that makes any sense. So also what will have been happening in the past week is your guides and inspirers, hi Lucian, will have been trying to also bring that channel communication forward, drop thoughts and inspirations in your head. So it's always important not to dismiss what comes as a thought, to make sure that you are catching the guidance that comes through. Hi Karen. So, a lot of confusion, but I want to keep saying this confusion does mean we're getting towards clarity. It seems to be endless at the moment, but part of what's coming out in all of us is who we really want to be. You've got to imagine that person in some respects and work from here to there. So when you've been up against it in the past week and going, what am I going to say about this, or what am I going to do about this, how do I feel I should be doing this, what's the right way, it's about giving you the opportunity to go, I don't know if I want to do it the way I've always done it, maybe I need to do it a different way. And working out what the new you would do, what the intuitive you would do, because that's the key part of this. The intuitive part of us is stepping forward more strongly and asking questions like, why are you doing that to yourself? Isn't it a bit crazy? Why are you giving yourself that stress? In the greater scheme of things, does it really matter? Just highlighting where we're giving our time, energy and focus, and often it's not us, it's not on us, and where that time, energy and focus ends up kind of being a wasted effort, because whoever we're focusing on, or whatever we're focusing on, sorts itself in the end. And I think that's a key part of what the angels try to get through to us. Their approach to our existence is kind of, why would you? I love them to bits. They're beautiful creatures, but they don't have our emotions. If they did, they'd be human. So the archangels and the angels kind of go, what? You doing that? Why are you doing that? And they try their best to kind of nudge us to do something that's much kinder and more loving towards ourselves. Well, they don't just nudge me, they shove me. They give me a big shove and they say, What are you doing, Annie? Get yourself sorted. But then I would have kick-ass angels. They're not fluffy at all. They were very much with me last night. I was doing some painting. I haven't painted for a while, and I was doing some painting. And Raphael stepped in because there's still such a great need for mega amounts of healing, and for us to recognise that the route to wellness is within ourselves. It doesn't exist out there, it exists inside. And he was busy doing his stuff. And Eteliel, it's his month, Eteliel's month. He's the bringer of light, so he was busy. He wanted his painting kind of thing. And then I got lovely Darashiel, who is very much about emotions, because I've done something. I've done something that's been gestating is the right word, absolutely the right word. I've been growing a book. It's been like a pregnancy. But I finished it on Saturday, which was interesting when I remembered what it said in last week's broadcast. I really had the determination to finish it and move it out and get it out into the world. So one of the things that the archangels remind us is that we can impact on the world, we can have our say in the world. We have to step back from doubting ourselves, and we have to step back from putting our time and effort and energy into things that really don't count. Pause for a drink. I wish it was gin. It's not gin, it's just water, but So where are they going with this? I'm just saying to them, where are you going with this? I don't know what I'm talking about. But that's very much what the energy is like at the moment. We may not know where we're going. We may not know why we're being asked to address these things within us, except that the angel's view is, well, if we do address these things, we'll be a whole lot better and we'll be a whole lot happier. And if we can find the greatest thing that's within us, which is the love that's within us for ourselves, not just everybody else, then the angels will consider that they've done their job, because they are supremely love. Every facet of love you can imagine is all in an angel, encompassed in an angel. So that also means that they're very tough loving, that they will insist on you taking the route to look at yourself, because they know the inner journey is actually the journey you're here for. The outer journey is nice and pretty, and with any luck it's a good outer journey, but in the end what matters is what love you manage to feel for yourself. Now I know that's quite a hard thing to do. We're conditioned not to, really. Love is very conditional down here, and the angels work really hard to try to get us. Sorry, I had to have this scarf on the chair today. They try very hard to get us to appreciate the most simple thing that they have to give us, which is love, and to get us to appreciate that we are beautiful, unique beings, and what isn't there to love about being beautiful and unique? Again, I recognise it's a hard ask, but it's important in this purification process, if you like, in bringing your intuitive ability really to the fore, in making the connections you need to make, and in changing yourself and your world. It has to come from love. It has to come from that solid base of knowing that you are this unique, beautiful being. So whatever the confusion, and whenever you've wobbled, because I know you will have wobbled, because I've been busy wobbling, whatever the confusions and wobbles, the thing that they bring you back to is to recognise that you are a powerful spirit, a beautiful being, clothed in a human body, and that it's that you must love all of you. Love the fact that you are human spirit here, busy with evolving and growing. The reason that they want to remind you of all of this, Dereshio particularly is talking about how sometimes our emotions run very high, run hot. And I've been sitting in a hot car for a lot of today, trying to get some cool air. And there hasn't been any cool air. Hi, Sue. The thing that they want to encourage you to do is to accept the feeling, acknowledge the feeling, and then decide, is it one you really want to have? And that's a really important thing for the week coming up, because I do feel that we've still got a little bit of turbulence, a little bit of energy that's working its way through everybody on the planet. So we're still getting this pull into extremes. And wherever possible, the next 7 days is about trying to avoid the extremes. Don't back yourself into a corner of saying black is white and then feeling like, oh, you know, how do I defend this? Or feeling attacked by somebody saying, no, it isn't. Black is black. It's about being open and aware to differences of opinion. But the differences of opinion don't really matter. The angels try to tell us all the time that underneath is always the flow of loving energy. But we take ourselves out of it because we get into these positions that are opposite one another. And the angels insist there's no right answer, there's no right or wrong answer, because we're in it, we're living it, so we can't see where it's all going really, and we can't judge it because we're in it. So there's a real strong position that says, I acknowledge the other person as a person and their views and their opinions, but I acknowledge me as a person too, with my views and my opinions. We don't have to agree. We simply have to work at the points where we can agree. That's the most important thing, is working where we can agree and trying to put to one side anything that doesn't quite meet in the middle. Now, that means that on a personal level, don't fall out with yourself. Particularly tomorrow and Saturday, there's a bit of niggly energy, and I want to say Sunday could be quite volcanic if you let it, if you are determined, my position is right and no one else is right. If that's how you are, then it will be explosive, because this is teaching us that everyone has a point of view. What's important is to listen, and what's important is then to say, right, how do we move forward? Everyone has a point of view about sitting on a motorway, a managed motorway queue. You get the lane shifters who are trying to get faster, go ahead. You get the ones who are going, oh, a bit like me, oh, we'll be here for hours, never mind. Turn up, Meatloaf, and let's have a good rock. You get the lorries who get frustrated because nobody will let them out into the middle lane because they need to let other traffic in, and the lorries are getting further and further behind. You get the little totally oblivious trundler in the middle going, I'm just sticking in this lane and I don't care what's going on around me. You get all sorts in this kind of motorway of life. There's a line I've been listening to this afternoon from Meatloaf. Is life, if life is just the highway and the soul is the car, and it always pings with me, and I was there in the car, right, okay. And the follow-up line is, objects in the rear view mirror look closer than they are. And sometimes what we're doing is dragging the past with us as we're sitting trundling along. So if you want to make it volcanic on Sunday, then it will be. That's your choice. But it might be wise to address tomorrow and Saturday why you are feeling niggled. Now, just to help us, there's another moon shift. So, of course, that's going to bring emotions right up to the surface, because the moon does influence our emotions. It's part of what creates our planet's gravity. It creates the tides. It also creates the energy waves, moderates the energy waves. So just think about the shift with the moon. Think about, right, we've been being kind of confused, tested, frustrated, opposite points of view, okay, so there is a little bit of stuff going blah, 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 blah. Let's get ready to explode. Don't explode at anybody. Don't explode at yourself. Recognise it for what it is. Some of it is old energy that needs to go. Some of it is about, who am I becoming? Because maybe it's a bit scary to become that person, because that person might be standing in their power and I don't feel very powerful or empowered. Lots of different shifts going on. And remember, it's with everybody. It makes it so much easier when you understand everybody's getting this energy. Sometimes I can step out and go, well, that's all right, because it's not just me. And sometimes if somebody's going rah, 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 in my face, I can go, that's okay. I was there 5 hours ago, or yes, I might be there in 3 hours. And be a bit more flexible, give a little bit more. The energy after Sunday is a lot calmer. It's like, we've released that tidal wave of feelings and everything goes for a bit. And that's really important, to give yourself a little bit of space and time and a little bit of, what just happened. It's also a time when the archangels and angels will be around, reminding you to be open to receive. Expect problems with technology to clear, expect problems with finance to clear, expect problems with people and life and work to clear, expect health problems to clear as well. It's like everybody's taking a little break, and there's a nice flow of positivity coming along in the wake of all of this releasing. Okay, it is on Wednesday next week again. I feel like another kind of preparation and planning day. If you can, take an hour out and just sit and go, who do I want to be? What's my life going to be like? If I let it be the best it can be, what would it be? Remember that the angels are listening, that they're there to help you. Remember also that unless we dream it, we can't be it. That's a step we often miss. We go, oh, I want this, but we don't think about, who am I going to be when I have that? What else will I want when I get that? And so Wednesday, big dreams, but also, who would I be if I was living that dream? Now, I used to drive from Leeds, to and from Leeds, every day. It's a long time ago. But sitting in my managed motorway queue tonight, I thought about that fact, that used to be my journey 5 nights a week. And it's got a lot worse than when I did it. And I realised how grateful I am for the fact that I can walk across the road and I'm in work. It's magical. But I couldn't have got to that if I hadn't made changes to me in that process. If I hadn't decided to venture out and do my own thing and to give up the travel, give up, a career. If I hadn't taken that step back and said, no, I want to do something else, I might still have been doing that drive. Very stressed, very fed up, spending hours of my week stuck in traffic. Now, we think we have to do it. And I know it's not always easy to say, no, we don't have to do it, and let's change that. But if your dream is to do something, then dream it and work out who you're going to be when that happens. Are you going to be 65? Are you going to be 45? Are you actually going to set off at 25 and say, by the time I'm 35, this is what I want, who I want to be? It's important. Who you end up being depends on what happens in your life. Definitely. Because some of the things about the job in Leeds really stressed me out, so I was very ill. So I bounced out of it effectively. But it's how you then decide, right, do I go back into that? Do I do something different? Do I move forward in a different way? And who you become. It's a good week to look at who you are becoming. It's a good week to look at who they are becoming, all those people around us. And it's a good week to consider on a local, a national and an international level, who are we becoming? We are intuitive, every single one of us. Do we honour that enough yet? And if we want a different world that's peaceful and where everyone has enough, can we do a little bit of something for us that makes that eventually become who we all are? I've just said to the angels, that's a big ask. They know that I'm always kind of going, oh, you expect us to do that in overnight? And they laugh and they enjoy the joke. And they also enjoy the fact that we can do it. We have to believe we can do it. So, in the coming week, I hope that you have as much peace as you can get. I hope you have loads of laughter. I hope that any niggles come to the surface in a positive way, and that you remember your voice is as important as anyone else's to state what's right for you. You're not saying it's right for the whole world, you're just saying this is what's right for me. And that you can give your voice into the debates, into the conversations, in loving and compassionate ways that help to move everybody forward. I hope all that makes sense. I don't know whether it does or not, because I can't even remember what I said 5 minutes ago. It's the nature of channeling. Of course, you can follow my blogs. I do a daily blog on www.annieconboy.net. This will be posted on Facebook in various groups. It will also go on YouTube because I have a YouTube channel. You can find me on, Instagram. Instagram. I think I'm on Google as well, and Pinterest and LinkedIn. Oh. Some days I wonder what on earth you've got me doing. But hey ho, I hope that you have a lovely week and enjoy the change of moon energy. Look after yourselves. send this out with lots of love from the archangels and the angels. Look after yourself. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.